animals, and that lady Teresa fears to enter there to that section actually. And is it your first film with a feature, and you have been experienced with the environmental films, and was it really good when you are taking the snail, the blue liquid in the eyes? Does it do really exist, or it's your own story? And the fight of white and red fish, how you shot the climax scene, it's just you're putting it there in front of the audience, but when you've taken the shooting part, it's really tough. Thank you.
I'll try to answer all the questions, but resume. I will actually. It's a fiction. The majority of things in the movie. There is no wrinkle wagon taking elderly people like stray dogs. It's more like a absurd fiction, speculative fiction that I would try to propose in terms of absurdity. How can we deal with this suspended reality? But also it really talks about us, because we know that some people know that it doesn't exist, but it could exist, and not only in Brazil. Something the society could change very fast in terms of how do we understand this non-productive body, because we are facing every time more and more a capitalist society where you are recognized by the way you produce. When you think about this non-productive body, the other one, in this context of society, we thought about this Brazil productivity, and so yes, it's not real, and the snail, the blue snail, also is not real. But actually, you can find a lot of equivalents that are for real. You have a lot of psychotropics in the fauna and flora in Brazil, like ayahuasca, some roots, some leaves, some animals, some frogs, that the skin can really give you some some expand your conscience, I would say. But in general, there are very associated to some rituals, indigenous rituals in Brazil, and that's why I prefer not using a real one, because in respect of some religions of the people, I prefer to create by fiction my own allegory to represent and talk about these psychotropics. So the blue snail is like a equivalence of what there is already. And no, half of the question. And the fish fighting. The fish fight is curious. There's a mix of CGI, visual effects, and a mix of real footage. So it's a mix. But there is this kind of species of fish in Brazil called betta fish, and they can be like they can fight for the territorialist fish, but not that emotional like that, because the sound designer make everything more like that's why it's it's because the sound is very impressive that makes us very connected.
Now, Arturo and Maria, why two sound designers?
Do you want to start? I think, in different ways we complement each other. We've been working together for maybe 6 years now, and I think we complement how we work, how we think, and I think Gabriel got benefited out of this a lot, because we also think that two is better than one, because we share ideas and we can discuss ideas before putting them in sound. No, we can think about, we can discuss, we can share our thoughts before doing, and that always makes our work bigger and better.
Thank you. Now the house is open for questions. Kindly introduce yourself and ask the question.
Hello. Congratulations to the whole team. Yesterday I saw the film. It is really disturbing, and it is a universal film, and technically it is made very well. And my question is, why you made a kind of an adventurous journey that lady would take, in spite of her this one, she does an adventurous journey. It shows that she has got the spirit, even though the government may consider her as aged and all. And it is really disturbing. and why adventurous journey?
Actually, I was initially inspired by my grandmother, and she's now 97, and when she was 80 years old, she started painting when my grandpa just passed away. And I was very inspired about someone that in the late 80s can restart creating new meaning for her life. We didn't have any background of artists in our family, so it was very touching for me to see her develop something new, because we associate the elderly people that they are not developing something new. It's generally when we talk about them, we connect them to the past. You know, it's about nostalgia. It's about elderly people nostalgic, say, oh, my glorious time that doesn't come back anymore. It was to be so great, my youth, when I was young. You know, it's always about these lemurials, nostalgic, and in the movies in general, when there is not a lot of movies in the world with elderly protagonists. So in general, they are about nostalgia, or they are about the ending of life, about terminal illness, something that they are like, friends are also dying. So I didn't find movies about the present. And for me it was very important to start thinking about elderly as a body able to rediscover the present, to start new things, to start discovering themselves, starting a new meaning for life, pleasure, having pleasure. The body is still alive, and that was the message of the movie. To look at this character, that she is able, even a woman, no? As you know, we face a lot of machista society. So for this movie, it was very important, as a Brazilian machista country, to think about this woman able to rediscover herself, rediscover, create a new kind of complicities, rediscover her sexuality, find new connections. And yes, and I hope the movie can share this kind of inspiration that talk about freedom in the end. That's the movie. It's universal. It's a movie about freedom, and we connected with her from this perspective.
You're audible.
Hello.
My name is Ansa, and my question is to Gabriel Mascaro. So, this film is already premiered at London BFI Festival, then Toronto Festival as well. And now it has come to IFFI, which is a huge thing for Indian audience, definitely. So, what is different from the kind of reactions or how the audience there have perceived the movie, and what are the kind of reactions that you're getting from an Indian audience with respect to breaking age-related stereotypes and stuff? Is there anything particular that is different with respect to the reactions? And what kind of conversations would you like for the audience to take away after watching the movie?
Yes, it's interesting because we tend to imagine that a different culture can really react differently, but not that much, because I think you are contemporary society, like you have access for different kind of movies in different contexts. You are a cinephile culture as well, so I would say there's not that much difference, because I understand you are very cinephile culture, and it's so special to share a movie like this, and maybe you have some kind of like specific backgrounds of kind of cinema that we don't have, but I know you are open to different kind of cinema, and that's the beauty of the festival, because it's a very diverse, also diversity in this festival. And for example, even for Brazilian upper class doesn't travel to the Amazon region. So even for Brazilian people from São Paulo and Rio, this movie can be maybe more eccentric and more exotic than for you, because you are in Goa, so you are more connected to nature, connected to different. So Brazil also is a huge country, and you can have maybe more difference in terms of reaction or reception, depends on the region in Brazil. That said, no, it's been so special to understand that the movie can connect us for more universal aspects, because it talks about freedom, talks about the right to dream, and the right to dream is for everyone.
From Gabriel to you, what was the brief given to you?
Eu sou Esmeraldina, né? Eu faço amiga da Tereza. E quando o Gabriel ligou pra mim, ele disse: eu quero um personagem que nem tu, assim, despachada, bem calma.
When the director told her, he told her that the character is very calm, very tranquil.
O meu personagem é bem amazônica, né? Bem amazônica. Eu sou indígena, eu sou ticuna, sou do Amazonas, em plena floresta amazônica. Então eu tenho descendência indígena e negra. Meus avós eram escravos. E aí agora eu me considero afro-indígena.
I come from the Amazon culture. Amazon culture is indigenous, very Brazilian. I'm a mixture of two cultures, indigenous and black culture. And I'm presenting my culture in the film.
E eu quis levar a minha regionalidade para Esmeraldina. Então eu acho que ela é uma mulher interiorana, uma mulher de uma cidade pequena, de uma cidade onde todo mundo se conhece. Eu acho que o filme ele traz isso, ele traz eu acho que o filme ele te mostra que a gente pode ser o que quiser. Então eu acho que é isso que o meu personagem quer também levar como amiga da Tereza, né? Que logo ela vai estar lá com ela também nesse lugar para onde ela vai.
I'm showing my region. I'm showing my region of Amazon. It's a small city, and I'm just being me. I'm being me, the friend of the main protagonist character. So yeah, that's basically what.
I knew Gabriel before. We are from the same city, and then when he sent me the script and said that I have a character to me, and I read it, I love it, and I was like, oh my god, this daughter. And at the same time, the script caught me, and I thought, oh my god, this is a great trip to get in. And I was very happy to have the opportunity to work with him, a friend and someone that I admired all his movies, and I was very pleasant and happy for the invitation.
Yeah, so my question is open to any of you. Goa actually feels very proximate to Brazil in a lot of different ways, almost like a cousin of sorts. Is there anything about Goa or its people that has reminded you of home so far?
That's a funny story because I was writing the screenplay 6 years ago, and I still was in doubt about where to shoot which part of region in Brazil. When I came here, I was like, yes, of course I must shoot in the Amazon region because it's the most equivalent of Goa I could find. And then I was very obsessed about the casinos because we don't have that culture in Brazil in casino anymore, and not in the river context. It was very it can be work very well for the movie as well. So I created this equivalent of the Majestic Club casino and the fish fighting in the movie. We have this fish fight casino and adapt a few elements that were inspired actually Goa. And yes, and also a few dress of the Goa police, very like tailored, like tropical. Beautiful like shirts, I would say, like for tropical this, and because in Brazil we have different kind of fashion, so I was also a bit inspired of the fashion of the Goa police. So yes, I'd say it was very inspiring to be here and to be in the festival 6 years ago, and I think it was very crazy to think this coincidence about inviting to be invited to open this amazing festival.
Thank you for the question. We also didn't know how you were inspired by the government police in Nepal. Fashion. Over to you.
My question is to Maria and Arturo. Yeah, you have been sitting very patiently waiting for your turn. So I was once interviewing Woody Allen, and he told me that sound design is the most acknowledged element of filmmaking. And he said that if you change the music of a particular scene, it changes the entire context of the scene and film. So how challenging was it for you to sound design for the film, or was it a child's play?
No, it was no child's play. Do you want to start?
Well, first, Gabriel had this idea of how he wanted to sound it very, very clear. So we had a lot of conversations. Actually, it was like every day we were having a conversation, and it was like, work that we were doing together, very, very close. I mean, not in the same place, because we were in different countries when we were working on the sound design, but working very, very close. And well, I want to add something, but no, it was very interesting. The way that he was explaining what he wanted to sound like. For example, he was very, very preoccupied for like the weight of the body and how the footsteps, for example, how they should sound, and that's like very unusual sometimes to have a director to be so delicate about each sound.
Delicate means paranoid, maybe.
But also like he also like makes some drawings about the both mechanisms. So like, for example, I don't know, like as you can see in the poster, every time that the wheel, I don't know how to say that, the wheel, was like moving, he was imagining like this whole system behind the boat, under the boat, and he was explaining and drawing so we could like imagine how this should sound. And all the time he was sending us videos and sounds from very different things that I don't want to say because they were a huge variety of sounds, but that makes us that was so helpful, and that was very, very fun because we were just trying to portray what he had in his mind, and that was amazing.
Just a joke. You can't imagine which kind of sound you use to emulate the sound of the snail, you know, like that.
Exactly.
I'm Bruna Agarwal from Doordarshan, which is our national television organization. And my question, Gabriel, is for you. With your background in documentaries as well as now fiction and feature, IFFI has been working over the years to try and champion documentaries. There have been various conversations right where you're seated about us needing to do more and to champion the cause of documentary filmmakers, because there are so many stories out there that when you're looking at fiction and feature don't actually reflect life, maybe just in a country like ours which is so diverse. But with your experience in both, what are the kinds of challenges that you see in one and the other, and do you have a preference?
Very difficult question, but I would say sometimes I have no I would say proper answer for that. But yes, I start doing documentaries, and at some point I start reflecting how important and how inside of documentary we must to observe that there is also performance.
India Radio, national broadcaster. Usually concepts like gambling and psychedelic drugs are considered as sin in society that leads to one's destruction. But in your movie, it led to the protagonist discovering herself. So why did you create that artistic choice?
That's true. It was very challenging because I tried to avoid being naive, because when we associate the idea of elderly body, we tend to domesticate them. We wouldn't be asking ourselves, it was a movie about young body, if they are gambling, it would be normalized. If they were like facing like discovering sexuality, discovering eroticism, their own body, find new friends, we wouldn't be thinking about this. But only because they are elderlies, we start thinking, why this choice? The choice is that because I try to look at this female old lady woman if they were someone else, and why not? You know, like why not? They can be dealing with these wrongdoing things. So as a young body that would be facing this kind of coming of age, this road movie, they should face a lot of like things that a young body would face. I try to replace this body and to make them do also wrongdoing stuff.